I was cutting the wedding cake when my vision blurred. The room started spinning. My hands trembled. And there she was, my mother-in-law, standing in the corner with that smile, that knowing smile. As I collapsed to my knees in my white dress, she whispered to someone next to her, "Some brides just can't handle the pressure." That was her first mistake. Her second? She didn't know about the cameras. If you enjoy stories where justice is served cold, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's continue with the story. Marcus and I met at a bookstore cafe in Portland. 6 months later, he proposed. It seemed perfect. But everything changed when I met his mother, Victoria Whitmore. Elegant, controlled, every word measured. At our first meeting, she said, "I'm so grateful for everything that comes into Marcus's life." Everything, not everyone. After we got engaged, she invited me to lunch, a fancy restaurant in Seattle. She started interrogating me. What does my family do? What's my career status? Do I want children? She evaluated every answer. At the end of the meal, she said, "Marcus has a successful future ahead. He needs a good wife, someone who won't hold him back." That was the first warning. But I didn't listen. When wedding planning started, Victoria was everywhere. She didn't like my flowers. Too plain. She didn't like my invitations. Too flashy. She changed the menu. Guests expect better. Marcus never objected. "She's just trying to help," he'd say. The breaking point came during dress shopping. I'd found my dream dress. Victoria's face twisted. Too ordinary. The Whitmore family expects something more grand. "But this is my wedding," I said. "No, sweetheart," she said with an icy voice. "This is our family's wedding." That night I came home in tears, and I made a decision. Victoria's every move was calculated. She was diminishing me. But now I would watch silently. 3 months before the wedding, I bought small security cameras from an electronics store. When Marcus was at work, I installed them. One in the living room, one in the kitchen, and I kept the ones for the wedding venue separate. Victoria kept saying, "Let's not upset him." But evidence can't be broken. A week before the wedding, Victoria was at our house every day. To help, but she was controlling. She changed the guest list, she rearranged the seating plan, and she chose the cake herself. "We'll use my baker from Eugene," she said, "someone the family trusts." "But I already found a baker." "Sweetheart, you need to trust experienced people." Marcus didn't interfere. He never did anymore. When the wedding day arrived, I felt uneasy. Victoria's recent calmness was strange. She seemed too victorious. While doing my makeup, I checked the cameras on my phone. I watched Victoria on the live feed. She was by the cake table. She looked around. Then she pulled out a small bottle from her purse. My heart raced. She opened the bottle. She lightly dripped something onto the top tier of the cake. Then she smoothed it over with a spatula. I recorded every second. My first thought was to call Marcus, but then I stopped. He wouldn't believe me. Not yet. This was a test. And I was ready. The ceremony was perfect. The reception began. Everyone kept saying what a beautiful couple we were. It was time to cut the cake. Victoria stood in the corner, arms folded, that smile on her face. I took the knife. Marcus and I cut together, the first bite. It was sweet, but there was a bitterness too. After the second bite, everything started. My vision blurred. The room spun. The knife fell from my hand. Marcus's voice came from far away. "Baby, are you okay?" My knees buckled. I collapsed to the floor. People were screaming, and Victoria was whispering, "Some brides just can't handle the pressure." When I heard that sentence, everything became clear. She wanted this. She planned it to make me look weak. But I was ready. I woke up in the hospital at 3 in the morning. Marcus was asleep beside the bed. Victoria was there too. A doctor walked in. She was a young woman, serious, looking at my file. "Miss Sullivan," she said, "your blood tests are concerning. We found ipecac syrup in your blood, a substance that causes vomiting and dizziness. At this dose, it appears intentional." The room went silent. Intentional? Marcus was in shock. "Someone mixed this substance into your food or drink," the doctor said. "I'm calling the police." Victoria jumped up. "Doctor, this is ridiculous. She had wedding stress." "I didn't eat something wrong," I said quietly. "I was fed something wrong." I asked for my phone. I opened the video app. I showed them the recording. Victoria, the cake, the bottle, the drops, everything was there. Marcus's face changed. "Mom, is this you?" Victoria stepped back. "Marcus, it's edited." "There's a timestamp," I said. "Wedding day at 2:47 p.m., and the angle is the exact table where your baker delivered it." The doctor called the police. Victoria tried to hug Marcus. "Son, it was for your own good." Marcus pulled away. For the first time, he pulled away. "You poisoned my wife." "She's not your wife," Victoria screamed. Her mask fell. "She's taking you from me." "No," I said. "You destroyed everything." When the police arrived, Victoria was still screaming. "I was protecting my son," she kept saying, but no one was listening. Victoria was taken into custody. Within the first 24 hours, the news spread. Wedding guests were in shock. On the second day, lawyers arrived. Victoria's attorney would try to claim the video was fake, but we'd found the baker. Victoria had given him instructions for special cream. She'd said it was a surprise for the bride. The baker would testify. On the third day, Marcus confronted his family. They all defended Victoria. "She just loved you." "She almost killed my wife," Marcus said. "This is a crime." His father said, "If you forgive her, we'll stand by you. If you don't..." Marcus stood up. "Then I don't. He chose me." Finally, he chose me. The trial began 2 months later. Victoria pleaded innocent. She accused me. "She planned it," she said. But the evidence was clear. The video, the baker's statement, medical reports, and one more piece of evidence. They'd found the rest of the bottle at Victoria's house. She hadn't thrown it away. She was keeping it. The prosecutor asked, "Why did you keep it?" Victoria didn't answer. "Because this wasn't the first time," I said. "Marcus's ex-fiancée, Emily, she got sick before their wedding and the engagement was broken. Now I understand." They found Emily. The symptoms were identical. Victoria had a pattern. She eliminated women she didn't think were good enough for her son. The psychological evaluation diagnosed her with narcissistic personality disorder. The jury returned after 2 hours. Guilty. Victoria's face turned to stone. Marcus was crying. I just felt peace. The judge said, "This was prolonged manipulation and sabotage. Your lack of empathy is deeply concerning." Victoria was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Psychological treatment was mandatory. As she was being led out, she screamed at Marcus. "I'm your mother." Marcus shook his head. "No, you did this because you loved yourself." After the trial, Marcus and I took a short vacation to the Oregon coast, just the two of us. We didn't talk about the past. We just existed. One morning walking on the beach, Marcus said, "Let's have a new wedding." "Are you serious?" "The first one wasn't yours," he said. "It was my mother's wedding. I want your real wedding." 6 months later, we married again. A small ceremony. Cannon Beach, Oregon. Only people we trusted. Victoria's family wasn't there. This time I chose the cake myself, and I never got sick. While dancing, Marcus whispered, "Thank you." For what? For showing me who you are and what I need to be. A year later, Victoria sent a letter from prison. Marcus didn't want to read it. I did. She wasn't apologizing. I did it out of fear of losing you, she wrote. You're my only son. No admission of guilt. Her last sentence, you'll understand one day, when you have a child. I tore up the letter because I already understood. Fear was normal. But using fear to hurt others was never normal. 2 years later, I got pregnant. A girl. Marcus was excited. But one night he said, "What if I become like my mom?" I held his hand. "You won't, because you're asking." Victoria never questioned herself. When our daughter was born, we named her Lily. When Marcus held her, he cried, "I'll never try to control her. I'll just love her." "I know," I said. When Victoria got out of prison, she wanted to see Lily. Marcus refused. "If you continue with therapy, maybe one day," Victoria cried. She protested. Finally, she accepted. Lily is 3 now, a happy, loved child. I watch Marcus play with her. They're free. Sometimes I think about my wedding day, the moment I collapsed, Victoria's smile, and what I learned. The word family isn't sacred. Blood relation isn't a free pass. Love doesn't mean control. And silence isn't weakness. Sometimes silence is the most powerful weapon. While you're silent, you watch, you plan, you gather evidence, and when the right moment comes, you speak. Victoria thought I was weak, but she didn't understand that pressure didn't break me. It made me stronger. Now I'm standing, Lily in my arms, Marcus beside me, Victoria's shadow left behind. Finally, I'm free. Finally, I'm home. And finally, I'm at peace. If you like the story, please don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.